You know, I think something's missing. Do you want to watch me design and sew a genderqueer Slytherin outfit? Then you're in the right place. Do you find insertion lace thrilling? Do you like silk? Does sticking it to J.K. Rowling's transphobia make your heart sing? This is the third part of a genderqueer Slytherin outfit based on historical garments. And if you want to see the other videos in this series, you can click the link above. Alright, let's be queer and let's make some stuff! Also, it's really hot. It's really hot. Alright, this is the pattern I have so far. It's a very simple overshirt that will go over, pardon my clutter, over the undershirt that I did previously. And the concept is just it's gonna leave the arms exposed and be essentially just like a tunic with a bunch of insertion lace on it. So I'm going to now test this out in a very cheap fabric, make sure I actually like it, and then I'm gonna commit. It has taken me an embarrassingly long time to do, but I finally have a working mock-up, and that means I can finally make this thing. The plan for this is basically to have kind of a mock weird Edwardian tabard with these cute little like wings almost, and then I will have insertion lace going down the front in hopefully cool snake-like patterns. If I can't get the insertion lace to curve, then I will have to do geometric patterns, but that will still look cool. So all of this silly trying to find the right shape for the shoulders and trying to figure out the neck and all of this crap here was just in service of the final form. Silk. It's so shiny. It's so pretty. It's so shiny. I like it. Okay, y'all, this silk, this lovely silk that hopefully will come out on camera okay, I have exactly the quantity of yardage that I need. I bought 1 yard, just 1 yard, and I think I'm like 98% sure that it's gonna be okay. But I have absolutely no room for error. And I'm really excited. I just think it's the prettiest fabric. Okay, so I said that I had exactly enough material to make this. I was not kidding. So this is the front pattern piece, all the way to the selvage. And this is the back pattern piece, all the way to the selvage. It is tight. I'll lose a little bit, but I'll just be careful when I hem it. It'll be fine. But yeah, it is. I'm gonna be double checking everything before I cut. It's gonna be okay. I have 4 of these to do, so I can do 2 here and 2 here. It is not a lot of room to spare. It is not. I have the grand total of my pattern pieces cut out here, a front, a back, and my little side wings. And this is all that remains of my fabric. This this is all I have left. I have my little bits and bobs from cutting out the front and back, and then I have this sort of awkward long piece that's mostly chewed up. So I have enough to like patch in some problem spots, but I do not have a lot to do anything else. I might have enough to do some cool piping with it on other parts of the project, which would make me really happy. But there's no guarantees until this part's done, so I guess now I get to make a shirt. So my testing came out really great. There was no like noticeable problems with ironing directly on it, which is amazing. And I didn't see any scarring from the pins. So I'm gonna go ahead and start making this. My plan is gonna be to sew on the machine all of the construction seams and then hand fell the seams down. On the inner shirt, the pin-tucked sleeve shirt, I actually serged all of my seams because the material was so ephemeral. For this one, because the silk is so nice to work with, I think I'm just gonna do it hand felling, and I think it will look a lot cleaner, and I think it's gonna be worth it. I think it's gonna be worth it. So my plan to fell these seams down as I go will be slightly non-traditional in the sense that normally when you fell a seam down in a historically accurate fashion, you trim down one side and fold the other side over. But I don't want to lose any of my seam allowance. I want to preserve as much of the fabric as possible. So I'm just gonna, it'll be slightly bulkier, but I think it will be okay because the fabric is fairly stiff. I'm just gonna sort of fold it down like that. So in and then out and over as a way to preserve the seam allowance but keep it nice and tucked and neat. So I'm gonna do this sort of out of order from how I did it on my mock-up, just because I want to not worry about some seams degrading. So I'm actually gonna do the shoulders next before I sew up the side seams. So I just whacked these together in the machine. I'm gonna flip them inside out and press them and then set everything with pins and see how things look. Okay, I did one stupid thing. which is when I felled seam allowance down, I was so careful. I was like, okay, I'm gonna make sure I fell it so it is, the stitching is on the back side of the shirt, but I didn't. But it'll be fine. It's not super noticeable, so I'm not gonna worry about it. But I am in the process of pinning in my power shoulders. I am really excited about this design, in particular about these shoulders. Like, they're the whole reason I'm doing this overshirt. So I actually ended up, I'll show you on this one here, I ended up going back in and adding in a little bit of canvas. This is a fairly squishy canvas, just to make it a little bit more full of body when it drapes. So I think that will help it significantly. So I'm just pinning these in with my little canvas interlining, and I'll pin it in on both sides, and then I'll sew it, and then I will fell down my inner arm. Same way as before. Okay, I am officially sweating, but I have all of my power shoulders ready to be felled, and I have my neck double turned in. I'm gonna hand sew that as well, and everything looks really good. I did a couple of dum-dum moves, but I think everything will be okay. The first is, for this section, I accidentally trimmed both sides of the seam allowance. I did actually trim the seam allowance on this just because it would be too bulky if I didn't with the canvas in there. So I'll have to like really whip stitch over that or something to secure it and make it nice and safe and happy. And the other thing I did that was kind of a move was I made the decision to fill my seams towards the power shoulders. And like I was thinking, oh, that makes sense. I'd rather have the bulk be on the shoulder rather than the body. But now I'm realizing for when I do up my side seams, I'm gonna have to change directions on how I do this. Because right now, if I continue to go in the same direction, I'm rolling the fabric out towards the front of the garment, and I don't actually want my felling to be on the outside. So now I just have a lot of hand sewing to do. Final construction of this really only has one part left, which is the side seams and then hemming it. So I'm gonna knock the side seams out on the machine, fell down the side seams, and then hem it. And that, I think I should be able to finish today. But what that really means is we're getting close to like the only part, well, not the only part, but we're getting close to the part of this that I'm most excited about, which is the insertion lace. The base construction is complete. I am delighted with how the power shoulders came out. I think that they look fabulous. They will look a little better with an actual arm in here instead of just empty sleeve. And my dress form, Aubrey, his dimensions are not quite the same as my dimensions, so it doesn't fit perfectly, but it gives an idea, and I am beyond pleased with it. I think it looks freaking great. But the whole point of this entire project wasn't just to make a cool basic block silk tabard thing, it was to do insertion lace. So my intention when I originally designed this was to have the insertion lace curve around and then create kind of snake-like twirling patterns. I am absolutely not convinced this lace can actually accomplish that. I think I'll play around. I think that my backup plan of just having it be geometric is not the end of the world either. I think that there's a lot of possibility in there. Okay, I'm gonna say screw it to my original design and go with something like this. I think that this will look fabulous, and it's very much like not trying to fight against the lace. I think that trying to fight against the nature of the material that you're working with is probably a losing battle. So this is going to be roughly the design that I'm going to go for, which is just sort of like more geometric. I still think it's going to be very snake-like because of the lace, which I'm really excited about. And I'm gonna have leftover lace because this is not my original design, so I have to decide what to do. Right now I have one chevron going down the back. I might do more, but I like having the back and front differentiated, so I probably won't. But I could do something more with the collar potentially, or I might just leave it and have a little extra lace, which is fine. There's one potentially dangerous thing I'm planning on doing, which is having the lace for the front and the back, or front and the back, completely go through the shoulder, which means losing this strong shoulder seam and having part of the shoulder only be held up by the lace. That's a little dangerous, I think, but, you know, gotta live dangerously sometimes. Yeah. These bits of lace will just sort of start at the seam. They won't continue over the shoulder like that. They will just start at the seam and go down. This one, though, will be a continuous lace, insertion lace with the back. That's my plan anyway. We'll see what happens. So I guess if I'm committed to this, which feels dangerous, I guess I'm going to pin it all in place. Oh, of course. So you know how I said I totally have a plan? I changed the plan. So I sewed in the first of the lace, I sewed in the back, and it's fine. It's all ready to loose threads. All ready for the cutting away of the silk, but I'm going to do that all at the same time. So I wanted to finish up the rest of the lace on the front first, and yeah, I've changed my plan. I need to make sure this is all exactly square, but I'll do that when I fully pin it down. But yeah, so I was liking the chevrons, but it needed a little something else, and I had a little bit of extra lace since I had intended originally for it to do a curve. So yeah, I'm gonna do an extra little wiggly blue and it'll be even more extra. Okay, but I love it. So I finished sewing in all of some of them are a little wiggly, but I'm trying not to be too obsessive about it. I finished sewing in all of the lace, front and back, so the back is just one chevron, just to kind of unify it a little bit. And it should, in theory, match up perfectly at the shoulders. And I kind of love it a lot. I'm really nervous about this next part though, because this is when like it becomes real. So what I need to do next is on the underside of this, cut away the green silk and like just have it be the lace. And I'm a little nervous about that. That's gonna be when shit gets real. Alright, this is the inside of the shirt, and it actually looks kind of cool, just with like the running back stitch holding the lace in place. This is the scary part, y'all. I need to cut the silk. Even the boy is worried. Are you worried? Are you a good boy? Are you worried? I just want you to know how hot it is, and I want to be praised for using my iron. It is 88 degrees Fahrenheit in this house. That took a very long time, and overall I think it went really well. I've gotten everything mostly tucked back. I'm just gonna fell it all into place as neatly and as invisibly as possible. We'll see how that goes. I did do the one thing I was afraid I would do, which is I did, in one spot, cut the lace. That is like the worst case scenario. I think I will be able to come back from it. It's a straight, clean cut. I think I'll just be able to really carefully with white thread seam it back together. I think it will look not terrible. Also, sorry for all the sounds. They're repaving my street today, which is like fine. Yay, new street. But it has meant that a lot of this video is going to be montage mode. it's complete. I'm really happy about this project. Like usual, I want to do a bit of a cost wrap up because I think that that's something in sewing projects that could use some additional transparency. I was able to get away with only buying 1 yard of the silk, so that was $17. And the lace was actually the most expensive part because I spent so long on eBay trying to find the perfect lace because I didn't want one that was floral. I wanted one with straight edges so I could do the insertion part very easily. And I wanted one that like specifically evoked a snake-like feeling in me. So it took me forever. And I finally found it and I just was like, well, I'll pay it. So I spent $34 on the lace. And then I actually went to the trouble of buying matching thread, which is not always something I do, but I did for this project. The matching thread was $12, and so that adds up to $63 for this shirt. But overall, I am extremely pleased with the way it came out and the way it fits. I think it came together very nicely, although I might rehem it a little bit shorter. It sits a little bit too long on me and kind of bunches up. And since the silk is very prone to wrinkling, that bunching up is kind of a problem, so I might rehem it. But I just love my power shoulders. I feel powerful with my power shoulders. Yeah, so kind of a sum up here, a wrap up. This project meant a lot to me. It was really, really fun and important to me personally to kind of do a combination of masculine and feminine like sewing techniques. And obviously I focused a little bit on the silhouette and making a very intentional choice to have the silhouette be blocky rather than sort of, you know, highlighting a figure. I did that very intentionally, but I also kind of chose elements that kind of played with both the masculine and feminine. For example, the power shoulders. I just love calling them that, the power shoulders. Are not a feminine design, and I think they look great and I love them. But the insertion lace is very feminine. But I also chose, you know, fairly masculine chevrons. And I just had a really good time playing with all of that, and it made my little genderqueer heart happy. But yeah, I'm really proud of this project. I think it came together really well, and I took my time on it. I probably took a little bit more time on it than I needed to, but all of the decisions that I made are decisions that I think worked out really well, and I learned a little bit, and I am excited to kind of maybe use some of the things I learned in future projects. So stay tuned. That's all I have for you today. Thanks so much for being here and watching along. If you want to support me and this channel, you can do so by going to patreon.com/bequeermakestuff. You can see additional posts by me where I share progress and photos. You can also participate in polls as they come along. But most importantly, and the part that I find the most rewarding is the Discord channel that we have, the Discord server that we have. And it is just full of delightful people who are amazing and being queer and making stuff. So if you want to join the community, head on over. Until next time, be queer and make stuff. Bye.